Hello, hey, it's Kate. If you are receiving this video, then you know who I am. So I'm going to just jump in real quick because this update is for you. We have noticed over the last few weeks to a month, a lot of my homeowners here in town around the Fort Liberty area, y'all are checking your home bought values, sending questions as you see the value moving. I'm glad you're doing that. But I also wanted to jump in here and send you a video talking about a few trends that we're seeing, what this means if you're looking to have to sell or buy another home in the next year or so, and then also what we're seeing for next year. So I'm going to jump right in, okay? The first trend is really no secret. Interest rates have been at near-term record highs, 8% or higher and for some conventional loans last month. However, I have just earlier this week gotten a VA buyer pre-approved at 7.25%. So they're coming back down, but they're still pretty high. So those high rates have brought around trend number two, that a lot of buyers are exiting the market, just sitting tight, waiting to purchase for a later date. It's not always wise in our market. Nonetheless, that's what they're doing. So that is creating less competition among buyers, and it is shifting the market, not entirely to a buyer's market, but we're definitely headed in that direction, especially at price points that are higher than average. I'm going to show you what those price points are in a little bit, but we're talking about the mid twos in Cumberland County, into the fours, mid-high fours in the and Moore County, and then in between in Hoke and Harnett. But anyway, so we're starting to see those higher price points sit longer, and they are more in a buyer's market, even if our lower average price points are still in a seller's market. It's just a funky market. Even our multi-decade veterans are like, well, we don't even know what's happening right now. So anyway, I want to bring some clarity to you. So that second trend about seller competition for the buyer is leading to a couple of things. How does a seller compete for a buyer who has 5 or 6 options that they like? Well, they can improve the condition. And so we see a lot of sellers putting a lot of effort into how they present the home. Sometimes they're paying for a little bit of staging, even if it's just gentle staging. They may go ahead and replace the carpets or do some sort of relatively inexpensive preparation, like paint the whole home, things like that, that make a disproportionate amount of difference. The other thing that they're doing is dropping the price. So if the home sits on the market for a few weeks or a month, or whatever is longer than the seller is comfortable with, they'll start to drop the price. And that is where you're seeing your home value of your home start to plateau a bit and maybe even dip down. Now, we don't expect a major correction. Most of these price drops are, it depends on the price point, but you'll see $5,000, $10,000. It really depends on if sellers are trying to price at the very top of their range, they're going to come down a lot because buyers are choosing more that average to middle range priced home. They're not paying at the top of the price point anymore. Okay. And so let me show you these numbers, and then I will briefly talk a bit about what we expect to see next year. Here we go. So these are the median sales prices for the 4 counties that I mentioned earlier. The bottom line, you'll see overall, and this is really in the last almost 2 full years, we see it's mostly flat and level with a slight uptick, okay? Our market tends to appreciate on average 3 to 4% a year. It's not a bad thing. That's pretty good considering the national average. Over here on the right side of the screen, you'll actually see the average appreciation of the median sales price from October of last year. We're all in the positives. So even if your home is an outlier for one reason or another, and we can talk about why that might be, most of the homes are still continuing to appreciate, even if the value is down from what it might have been in, say, July, it's still overall appreciating on the annual trend as we would expect or better. So I hope that that is some peace of mind for you. Even better news, we are hearing housing and economic experts at the macro level talk about how they expect the mortgage rate next year to come most likely back down into the 6s. I told you we're already starting to see 7.25. which is a really good news. But hopefully by first quarter of next year, and then of course, as we ramp up and warm up in that second, third quarter of the year, we're hoping to see them back down into more average or typical interest rate ranges there in the sixes, maybe even down to the bottom of the sixes by the end of the year. Who knows? I can definitely say that the people who have been doing this even for decades, they refuse to comment too far, because it is definitely, there are some unprecedented conditions at play here. And so anyway, I hope that helps. I've tried to run through this as quickly as possible. Just wanted to give you a snapshot. If you have any other questions, or you just want to catch up, I'm all for it. My number hasn't changed, and we will talk soon. Have a good one. Bye.